Okay. Probably better get started. This is the public hearing concerning the 25-26 school calendar. So we'll call the order with a roll call.
Carter.
Here.
Carter. Pepper. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Lucia.
Here. Okay, we'd like to welcome visitors. Anyone would like to comment about the oh, excuse me. Approval of the agenda. Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. We have an agenda. 25-26 calendar.
So on the presentation portion of that, for the public comments, the calendar is very similar to this year. As you may recall, a couple months ago, we made a decision to form a 4-day school week task force to consider for future years, but this is a pretty traditional calendar year. It has spring break, and I'm pulling it to make sure I say the right one, I had to move once. Spring break the week of March 30th and April 3rd. Which for those who are interested in where Easter falls, that's the week preceding Easter year. We had debated the week of the 6th through the 10th, but there were some local activities and then there were some state activities that we maybe couldn't move, that would have gotten in the way of. So the committee elected to go with the 30th through the 3rd for spring break. It has students' last day is an hour early out on May 28th, teacher class workshop day, May 29th. 5 virtual snow makeup days, the ability to use a PD day on May 15 as a snow makeup day, if needed as well, to push keep students from having to go into June. So it gives us some options.
Any comments? Hearing none. Motion and a second to adjourn the regular board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are adjourned. Regular board meeting. We will preface with all students will learn well, become lifelong learners who contribute positively to society. At this point, we welcome visitors. Roll call, excuse me.
Berger.
Here.
Carter. Pepper. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Lucia.
Here. Now we can do welcome visitors in public forum. Okay, I don't see anything. We're down to item 3, approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion carries. Approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion carries. There is no old business. We are down to new business, and that brings us to student representative.
We should have given you a table, shouldn't we? Sorry.
You've done this before, you're.
Okay, so we have the Southeast District Conference recently in February. But we had a ton of students go there. And SGA went down to Lakeview and took some students to read design grade.
So what are the four colors, red, black, white, and
Yes.
gray?
And then we have mock trial competition tomorrow. And then the first practice of the year is on Thursday, March 14th at 4 o'clock. And we have state speech this Saturday. We have 7 students going there.
What's that?
Um,
That part is in red.
North Scott High School.
There's that.
North Scott High School.
What's that? Okay. Yes, you said there, isn't it?
that's it.
Any questions, comments?
That's a lot.
Blood drive, you know how many participated? That's all.
I heard there was a waiting list.
Oh, good.
Good.
Very good. Any other questions, comments? Thank you, sir. Student celebrations mock trial.
Alright. Maybe just like, maybe they're both. Because Kinley is one of our math brothers as well.
Good evening, board, public, and administrators. I'm really excited to tell you about a new opportunity this year, mock trial. Tomorrow we have our first ever competition in Marshalltown to kick off the mock trial program in Centerville High School. As a student interested in a future career in law, this opportunity means a lot to me, and there were many people in the community and the school that had found our mock trial. You don't, however, have to be a student interested in law to join mock trial. Mock trial helps develop soft skills one can use in a future career, like becoming more comfortable with public speaking and developing strong critical thinking skills. It's also a fun activity that gives you an opportunity to compete and forge strong bonds with team members. A lot of hard work went into preparing our materials for the trial itself, too. We prepared an opener, a speech to give a preview into what our side of the case wants to portray. Direct questions for witnesses on our side, cross-examination questions for witnesses on the opposing side, and a closer, a speech summing up the case from our side's point of view. We have read through witness testimonies, interviews, autopsy reports, and countless exhibits from both sides of the stand. We've also spent countless advisories and days after school going over each piece of evidence. Overall, a lot of hard work and dedication has gone into preparing for our competition tomorrow. We're really excited to bring a new activity into Centerville High School. Thank you to everyone who made this opportunity possible. Please wish us luck for our competition tomorrow.
So what is the case?
Our case is about a university and a student who ended up passing away at the university due to hazing on the university campus.
So is this a civil case or criminal case?
It's a civil case.
Are you plaintiff or the defendant?
So we do both. We prepare both sides. And then we'll have one round where we're the plaintiff and one round where we're the defense. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Someone help you prepare that after that, right?
Or, yeah.
I didn't know she
Yeah, we're
prepared
gonna
it.
try to come in.
I thought she was gonna wing it.
She did.
How many is on our team?
9.
Nine.
Where is that?
One.
How many teams are on the state team?
Probably a lot, but I know that we're the only school our size from our area that has a mock trial.
No, that's.
Well done.
Congratulations.
She's tired once. Any other questions, comments?
Good luck.
Good luck. Yes.
How's your legal?
He's for sure.
Oh, wow, all right, you're allowed to.
Boy, that, we broke that out of it.
Yeah. All right. Good today.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever dressed her, those pants are all ripped up and everything.
Okay. We have staff presentations next.
Yeah, thanks.
I have some handouts for you.
About 6 years ago, I had intentions of coming again to
went out and drafted a whole thing for us, so we'll have 88 people in there, on March 18th. And I gave you guys a printout, the one thing that we are adding to this year is like a welcome packet for all of our vendors. Just kind of outlining what the day looks like, how we can participate in student prizes, but also a good listing of everyone that we anticipate coming, so you can see the variety of booths that will be set up. Also in there, we are trying to promote new sort of partnership opportunities. This CRAP team also working through our district's the career and academic plan this year, seeing kind of a gap in work-based learning and what we can do to partner with businesses for that. So we figured why not kind of advertise that since we have a lot of people in the room. So looking at trying to see how we can do institute tours, job shadows, career apprenticeships, internships, that kind of thing. So we're also kind of excited. 2 of our classes will have a booth set up there. So CHS, Industrial Tech, students who studies and solicitor, highlighting their projects and speaking to businesses or students about that. And I've also partnered with some students that are coming up.
So are they trying to recruit into those classes? That's really good.
Yep, so, yeah, I mean, recruiting into the classes, but also, I mean, I think about, I guess, our closest program pretty well. And we're gonna have John Deere in there, so lighting, like, some big heavy hitters in terms of preparations there, so we're gonna have to figure out how we can partner with them. So,
I did Christmas arms.
me? I didn't so, no, honestly, it's been like the easiest recruitment process of getting businesses. I think everyone who came last year, I was in the resounding roster, came back and we had people reach out and be a part of it, which is really exciting. So, that is what they're getting. There's gonna be some more additions from like fundraisers that are going on in high school. But also, sorry, I should mention CB Sister for Work-Based Experience program that she does with their special education classes outside of it. So just trying to figure out how we can use this time to kind of partner and build a program. The other packet that I gave you guys, another thing that, I mean, it went well last year, like it was a success, but when we sat down to plan, I think one of our big questions was how do we front load information to students and make this experience more valuable for them. And so I went into every English class here that we spoke this week and did a lesson about the career fair. So I just included the presentation that we're working through. I was in a tutorial today with my peers, and really it's just a conversation about like, here's how the day's gonna go, so they know what they're walking into. But the big idea we're trying to promote is building your network. Like, what is networking? How do these connections help you? And then that leads into, okay, how do you present yourself, right? We practiced handshakes today, like, we looked at the list of businesses and they had to create questions to people that they were going to come to. So we're trying to prep them as much as possible to go in and compete. I think that's all I have to share.
Is there anything else, team? No. Great.
Okay. And I would love, if you guys want to come that day, I mean, the gym will be packed, but you're more than welcome. It really was a fun day.
Are you the only 4 rounds?
I think we can fit everyone in. The plan is to block this off just so it's not a lot of crossover with kids. So we're working really closely with the maintenance department here to make all these things happen. If for some reason we get in there, you and Hector drafted 6 different plans of how we're doing things. So we have options. So I think we're gonna feed the lunch out here. Right, Jared? Yeah, we are. So
But we see what you're saying.
it is exciting.
Because it's a lot of work, so.
Yeah, but it's good. Super fun work. Yeah. Any other questions?
We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny, do you have others from high school that you want to have present?
Nope.
Okay, good. So our presentation from high school with this though is these quilts from the LCS classes and the one of the two that you've eaten. So, theirs are very hands-on, no pressure for the rest of the buildings, you know, I'm just teasing, I'm just joshing. Unless you wanna have brownies, that's fine too. Yeah, that's the staff presentations.
Okay. Summer Radio Group is next. Mr. Van Gogh.
Hello. obviously in case some questions came up on other services we can all highlight. And you can, I think that's enough. Pass one around. I know it's a lot of jargon, so I will try to layman terms it. I was asked to put together some ideas for anything from outreach, public relations, marketing, advertising, year-round for recruitment, events, and activities, as well as open enrollment, and basically just to do anything we could do to make you guys sound like the best things since sliced bread. The proposal that I did put together, which, did you guys all have that one? Did you want me to kind of walk through it all, or did you want to jump right into questions, or how do you kind of explain what all comes with it first?
Maybe a quick explanation.
Okay. So this particular proposal, we're looking at a one. Sorry.
Thanks for
Oh, come on.
that's one of the more.
Okay, so this particular proposal we're looking at would be a one-year campaign. It's on 3 of our 6 stations. This would be on 101.5 KISS FM, 104.3 KRKA, as well as 97.7 Con FM. All of our stations have a massive reach, southeast Iowa, northern Missouri, but obviously Athens County, the surrounding is where we're going in on. We do fit all the relevant age demographics that the boxes were checked for, and I do have more of that information if you need it as well. This would be 7 days a week, 15-second commercials, which I do have audio samples to play as well if you haven't heard them yet. KISS FM Monday through Sunday from 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. You'll always have a 15-second commercial adjacent to a texting while driving. We recommend having anything from students, faculty members, board members, school board president, superintendent, and anybody else voice them. And I do take them as often as you like. I take care of writing all the content for you, so you never have to pay me. Also 97.7, Monday through Sunday, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. And also 104.3 KRKN, Monday through Sunday, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. It ends up being 42 a week on KISS, 21 a week on Tom, and 21 a week on KRKN. And again, that follows the radio station. In addition to that, we also do video production with drone footage, audio, video commercials, the works, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. We discussed some really good ideas of the drone flying over and everybody waving from the field, and just different ideas, but also wanted to do a little more focused on your interior, especially with all the updates or innovation, the exterior, one for open enrollment, one for recruitment, basically whatever you guys want to use them for. And then we share them, push them out on all of our free Facebook pages as well, and you want it for life to do whatever you'd like with. And again, the content creation, I will constantly be throwing ideas at you, but if you have anything specific that you would like, we can customize it however you desire. And I don't know.
I have one here.
Yeah, you want to go and play, and even if you don't want to play.
Do you have one you prefer that I play first, or?
Perhaps, did everybody get a chance to listen to the 30s we did for the very little open enrollment schedule, that
No.
short one? Maybe
No,
we
I
could do those first,
Oh,
same
right,
idea.
All right, I got one I'm partial to, so I'll just play it.
Hey, I'm Katie Taylor, a student here at Centerville Community Schools. I can honestly say that switching to Centerville was one of the best decisions I've ever made. The teachers care, the classes are challenging, and there's always something fun to do. Whether it's sports, arts, or after-school clubs, everyone here supports each other, and it's made a huge difference in my life. If you're thinking about making the switch, don't wait. The open enrollment deadline is March 1st. Visit centervilleschools.org or call 641-856-0601 to learn more. Centerville Community Schools, where every student shines.
Obviously, I have feelings about that one.
I'll tell you what, that girl came in and she was meek, mild mannered.
Oh.
This is never gonna work.
So that was her decision?
Sure,
She
yeah.
agreed, right, and then-
There was no coercion whatsoever.
And when Sarah Jane handed her the mic, she's like, somebody flipped the switch.
It was beautiful to witness.
Yeah.
No mistakes, one and done.
Do you want to do a 15-second?
Yeah, you can. And I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to play the other 30s. I think it was
I can-
Sophia
yeah.
or Sophia.
Sophia, yeah. Let me play Sophia's here, because her mom's here.
Hi, my name is Sophia Caraccio and I go to Centerville Community Schools. Before I came here, I wasn't sure what to expect, but now I can honestly say this school feels like home. The teachers really care, I've made amazing friends, and there are so many opportunities to get involved. Whether it's sports, clubs, or awesome classes that prepare us for the future. If you're thinking about making a switch, don't wait. The open enrollment deadline is March 1st. Visit centervillecommunityschools.org or call 641-856-0601 today. Centerville Community Schools, where every student shines.
And there was a mark on the mic, but I was feeling he's not on.
not gonna play the mark, can I play the mic?
So the deadline is passed.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all ended on the 28th.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll wait till it's discussion time.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead.
okay.
Sure.
If you're looking for a school district that puts students first, now's the time to make the switch to Centerville. We offer small classes, dedicated teachers, and outstanding academic and extracurricular programs to help every child succeed. At Centerville Community Schools, we believe in empowering students, engaging families, and building a bright future together. The open enrollment deadline is March 1st. Don't wait.
Visit centervilleschools.org or call 641-856-0601 today.
And then the 15th would be more relevant to the new proposal.
For me, that 15.
Oh, yeah, I think there's 3 at one time.
Looking for a career where you can make a difference? Join Centerville Community School District, where passionate educators, supportive staff, and a welcoming community come together to inspire students every day. Competitive pay, great benefits, and a workplace that feels like family. Centerville is the place to be. Apply today at centervilleschools.org.
That one's more of a career general.
Cringe voice, that's.
So that was part of what we talked about 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
And we already approved it.
The 30s were, yeah, that 15 is part of this proposal.
And I think there's never been one here, I think I did 115 and he did one.
SJD would be you, yeah. Sorry.
Excellence, opportunity, and community. That's Centerville Community School District. Their dedicated teachers, engaged students, and supportive families make Centerville a place where everyone thrives. From top-notch academics to championship athletics and the arts, there's something for everyone. Learn more at centervilleschools.org.
Mike, 15 here? Okay.
Hi, I'm Mike Thomas, a member of Centerville Community School District. Here we're more than just a school, we're family. Our teachers and staff are dedicated, our students are thriving, and our community is strong. If you're looking for a rewarding career where you can make a difference, apply now at centervilleschools.org.
So those would just be the radio audience, and again, obviously, thank you everyone to voice, or, I love giving students the voice, and I think one of the things we talked about was going a little bit more in on the fact that there's 40 different activities, and just really showing people the difference of what you guys have versus others, so it's definitely a very large body of public relations, but you can use it for anything and everything you want. That way, instead of waiting, every time over and over time, for a new decision, it's already going, there's this easy as an asset, and you can tell people, oh, they're both how wonderful you are. And of course, the videos, you have with over 120 shares amongst our 3 pages of,
I guess I have a question, so are we the only school district looking at doing this in here?
we have 5 different salespeople and cover many counties, so we have other ones that are on here. Yes. Because we're not allowed to discriminate.
No, and that's, I guess, what I'm looking at is, I mean, when we did the portion for the open enrollment, on my Facebook, Davis County was popping up,
Yeah, they do every year for me as well, yeah.
so,
I didn't see anything online.
yeah.
I had a question, Mark. Did we receive any applications for open enrollment?
So, we got a handful this year, open enrollment in. It was more, I want to say it was either 7 or 8 that I've gotten for open enrollments in this year. And usually it's not quite that many, and we didn't have as many open enrollments out as the last 2 years have been this time of year. So I think in terms of those numbers, that speaks well for the work we've been trying to do in our district for kids to be a part of.
You know, I love what every kid, everyone involved had to say was awesome. My questions are about the reach of the message. You know, I haven't seen anything. I did have a parent call and say, you know, I saw that it had 0 shares. I just feel like, and I did like an informal poll on my social media, and the majority of the responses, people are not real. They're XM or satellite radio and podcasts and all these things, and I just feel like we're throwing all this money in the blue sky. money, and I just don't feel, I don't feel good about it.
To counter that, the March first deadline, we only had to reach one student to 4,000, and one student was 70. I think we got 7 or 8. So,
But we don't know where that came from either.
well, we don't,
Either way, we don't know where it
We
came
don't.
from. I mean,
You never do that.
yeah, I mean, we don't know if it, was word of mouth, it was advertising, it was, I mean,
it's,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna be honest, I love the interview, I love the effort, but I go back to our board workshop and job policy, and one of the consensuses of the entire board was to be fiscally responsible. I don't feel at this point, I feel like right now we're trying to throw a water bottle on a house fire. If we want to actually regroup and get a solid idea as a more administrative team on how to possibly promote our district, I'm all in favor of that. I feel this was rushed. I feel there was a reason that Mr. Taylor brought an item that was not, did not have to come to the board. So again, we've got some great relationships going on with other advertisers in our area, but I just at this point cannot justify to the public that we're going to spend $12,000 on radio advertising when I'm not a marketing expert, but I'm going to say that's not a target audience. You look at the social media ads in Davis County compared to ours that looked out there, no disrespect, those look like something we're produced in Microsoft Paint. See the engagement, the shares, that's my 2 cents. Again, I don't think this is the right time for the school as a district to sink that kind of money into something when we've had other opportunities that we just didn't follow through on. I think we need to stick with what we've got, come together as a team, and develop a process moving forward on what's really going to move us. I heard quite a bit of some of these commercials with the open enrollment making us sound desperate. That's my 2 cents, my perception is the wrap. So I don't know if, I'll stay on as long as I can when it comes to a vote, but I'm not doing my due diligence and I didn't get my 2 cents out there.
Yeah, I do want to say something to why I brought that, even though we didn't need to. It's because it was something new, and I didn't want to blindside anybody with it. I just wanted to have that feedback. So I did not mean to make that a big deal, and I apologize for that.
That's right.
to,
So how does, okay, so open enrollment that I understand about, how does continuing this list help us? I mean, what if we just did it like right before open enrollment?
we could do that open enrollment thing again, but advertising is not about a quick, short blitz. It's about name recognition. It's about getting your name out there every day. And making people think about us, to think about changing where their kid goes to school. Where the whole state is experiencing declining. If you look at Des Moines, they're gonna close schools, okay? And so, I'm of the opinion that we are going to have to try and get as many students as we can. Now, I will admit that our March 1st blitz really didn't say much different than all those other schools. They were all out there on the radio. I think we were the only one that had students, which I thought was It was, and I've heard people say what sounded like, the Medicare open enrollment thing. But, and Sarah Jane and Mark and I have talked. I think the next step for us is that we can't just say the same thing that everybody else is saying. We have to do one of those. You gotta give people a reason to choose us. And I think the biggest reason is numbers. If you look at For example, we have 5 math teachers, 7 through 12. You go to Bolton, they may have, okay? You go to Moravia, they got 1 or 2, okay? Our numbers are much better than their numbers, and they can't argue that. And if I was a parent trying to figure out the best place for my kid, part of those numbers would also be, we give away $35,000 worth of scholarships every year. Okay? Nobody else does that. And that's what we want to put in people's minds, is that shop by the numbers. And we got every one of those other school districts. I mean, we got them down without a doubt. We just want to get our message out. And $12,000 a year is, quite honestly, less than 2 students. Okay?
I feel like, everything you said, great points. I just feel like we need time to regroup, we need time to, what is the message? And we need time to develop what it is we are trying to say.
Okay.
And I just feel like it's hurried and.
Oh, I'm with her.
Yeah, I just, I think we need time to really figure out what it is we're trying to say.
Good. I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point.
And I agree with absolutely everything what you're saying, I 100% do. But I don't think we need to just say that hit radio is the way to go. There are advertising packages for Spotify, Exit, whatever there is, I think it's commercial treatment. I'm not trying to target the guy in the track who's loud as a mule. I want the kids, we need to target what the kids are watching, what the kids are listening, what they're viewing. So that kid goes, oh, yeah, look, Centerville's got 5 math teachers in high school, we only have 1. So I agree, everything that you're saying, we absolutely need to do. But we need to be responsible and search all avenues rather than just going with the next option that's out there in our area other than IOP network.
Okay.
That's,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but do you have anything before I go on the meeting manifesto? Because it looked like you got.
Yeah, I guess I got a couple.
I'm sorry.
So, I can't remember what we signed for a contract with Bill Page. But we do that for advertising. Okay? We were originally told on that we would have data showing results. We never got that. Okay? I don't know what results you can show us. Okay, I guess, so in my thinking, on that end of it, I have to see results that are hard-nosed. This is how many listeners I have in Athens County, this is, this is my target specifics. See, that goes back to my next point, is, quite frankly, I'm gonna be 100% honest, this was not a board decision, this was, I know you spearheaded this, but this was not a board guided decision as far as any advertising. And that is, for a board, we need to be together on how we're going to really present our condition.
Sure.
So, I mean, so with that package that we have, we've never seen it.
So, maybe go a little step down here. First of all, in full transparency, I've known Sarah Jane for 10 years, probably. And in the course of her doing the advertising for me, by the time we ran, I probably ran 125, 150,000 ads, spots over time. Because there's some years we're doing 15,000, 18,000 ads a year. And so, I got just a little bit of background, Sarah Jane, what you said about, we spent money on advertising, well, this pitch is also Goodman Thomas. And I know with the Goodman Thomas piece, I specifically, we were spending $1,000 a month, and that was more than $1,000 a month with them. And we had to spoon feed them everything, and most of the stuff that came back had to be redone. And so we did get our money out of that, we were up there in Waterloo or wherever it was. this is a little bit different from, I don't, you know, we're supposed to get some metrics back, yes, but they are doing a lot to cover sports, and there's some things that are getting some of that stuff out there. So there's some things that are happening, the newspaper and that, you know, do we need some feedback from? Yeah, I think we deserve that, but they've done some things. What I will say about Sarah Jane is, whatever the plan is, she will execute, and she'll do it flawlessly. So it won't be like it in Thomas, where we don't get anything back. Whatever we sign up to do, it will happen. And I can testify to that, because we met once a week, once every 2 weeks for years. And there's some weeks we couldn't get together, and we didn't have a plan out there. But we usually plan like 6 weeks out of advertising. If we didn't do that, she'd call me and says, hey, you know, we didn't meet, I just want you to know I ran this spot, this spot, and this spot. And so the spots are always filled, so it's gonna happen. And so I have confidence in the execution piece of it. Now, let's talk about the effectiveness of it, because that's come up a couple of times. And I know that going on the radio is a 360 broadcast. And quite frankly, we're not going to recruit from Fairfield. We're just not gonna have people come over. So what's the value in doing radio advertising? Not everybody gets it, but this type of advertising throughout the year is top of mind advertising. It's to get people to think about Seminole schools. And when it comes open enrollment time, when you're doing that targeting market, you know, we're top of mind that, oh yeah, I've been hearing about their programs all year. Now it's time to do this. So there is some advertising strategy to do it 12 months throughout the year, and then you target the execution in February for open enrollment. So there's a strategy there. But I also, so that there's reasons to do it 12 months of the year, but I think some things that you said and Derek said is true. It's what's the right platform? And she and I have talked, so she knows I'm gonna say this, I'm not sure it's radio. I think what we can do, and if she can help us with this, is we need to do things like YouTube pre-roll. We need to do video because the TV is kind of dying like newspapers, and people are using this to watch their streaming services. So if we can get on that, and we can get in front of them, we can target parents and kids through what they're watching, because once they watch that, the other thing, because one of the things that happens, if you got the right platform to do that is, because I recently did this one, I was looking to make a purchase of something fairly substantial, and I was on the website a lot. Well, pretty soon I started getting ads from them, right? And so then what I did, I got the ads, it's like, I clicked on the ad. Well, the more I click on the ad, the more I get that ad, and I kind of like that ad instead of all the other junk that I get. So if you can get some people through the ads, to direct to the website where they can click on that, and you can get the tracker, start putting on and all that kind of stuff that you all annoys us, but it works. And that way, if they're clicking on it, or maybe checking some of the little ads in there, it starts to come up and play more frequently. The other thing about that type of advertising, and I'm not sure what the rates are on this, but through my trade associations that I used to be in, part of that time is you're not billed for that ad unless the viewer watches a certain portion. So that first 5 second skip, if you skip it 5 seconds, the advertiser is charged for it. That becomes a free ad, and it becomes top of mind. So on like a 30-second ad, you have to like watch at least 8 or 10 seconds. And if it's longer than that, you gotta watch a certain percentage of it. Those metrics, the algorithm change all the time. But it's when if you like skip, because a lot of people are doing that, you got a free 5 second ad for somebody. So there's some value in that because it becomes cost effective. So I think if we're going to do some advertising, which I went back and from one of the datas that we had from some program, I think it's some Jewish program, we lost almost 200 kids in the last 10 years. That's $1.6 million in state funding that we don't get for supplemental aid. That's a lot of money. And when you look at our open enrollment out, we're paying for multiple teachers in multiple districts. That money could be here at the school. So I think we have to be aggressive to get kids back here and to stay in here and do that. So I think there's some advertising, but I think we need to target the medium of format. And if you can help us with the pre-roll stuff, I think that's where I would feel comfortable putting money rather than on something going over to Fairfield. I don't know what station it's over, the Cape Horn or whatever, but yeah. Go ahead.
I agree on the advertising. I think we need to have our name on it, okay? just think that we need to, like Carol said, there, we need to come together as a board first, to figure out how we're doing that prior to any proposals. I mean, to me, that's a good workshop meeting, okay, as opposed to.
I'm gonna take one step further, yeah, there's a lot of students that go from out. Really dug deep, this is more administrator superintendent, and we really dug deep and see truly why, not just because, well, mom and dad, your brother always went to this or that school. I mean, there's gotta be a reason for these kids are leaving, and that's my point on.
That is part of it, though. That's a good part of it, because Emily Kozak calls each year with any new open enrollment. She gets information, and that is a big part of it. Mom, dad worked in this town, it's easier to go there. There are a few that are mad about something and go because they're mad about something. The majority of the online ones are because they wanna be online. But a lot of them, it's, I work over here, or I went there, my dad went there, my grandpa went there. So it's a lot of tradition in a lot of cases.
To me, if you're the right option for what we decide as a board on how to proceed, great. But I think we need to come together as a board, the seven of us first, before any proposal is put out there.
Well, I agree. I only had a proposal tonight because I was requested to bring one, so that's why I came with one. We do display, video, geofencing, connected TV, SEM, OTT, streaming audio, as well as meta, so all of the things. Now, I know with the brand group, brand source group, the pre-roll without paying, you might have to do with the value that you're buying, so I have to look into that, make sure it's just on the base. But yeah, so we can do anything and all of those things, mentioned as well. And I can revise a proposal 99 times over 26 years if I need to. I'm very patient and I'm pushy. Again, I only had it, tonight to present this because it was requested, but I'm willing to revise any need. And of course, putting together the content is the funnest part for me, so I love putting together the ideas, the scripts, whether it is commercial, video, or whatever you want. I love writing the ads, so.
So you could take care of all that, like a better term, social media, that board is talking about.
Yeah, and the different types, what they're talking about, from the display ads that go across different connected TVs, whether it's Roku, Fire TV Stick, or podcasts. That will all be on the bottom of the page that I handed out tonight, with everything in track for you.
I guess, and that's terrific, and if that's what we, how to move forward is first, I think. But I think along with that is we need to talk to the kids, see what they're actually watching and listening to. We can assume, right, but if we're not in here figuring out what the kids.
A marketing advisor, maybe they don't somebody can volunteer in that.
She does have a degree in marketing.
Right, but maybe somebody that's not trying to.
Oh, so.
Yeah.
No,
Like an impartial person, no offense, but an impartial person.
No, that's true.
But somebody that could, this is what you need to be looking for, this is what we do. This is the most bang for your buck and all that.
Sure, I think that's a good idea.
And
And go ahead.
What Mark was saying about why people go out and all that. And, when you have this advertising, I'm certainly not an expert, although I advertise, but still, you want to know, who's gonna make that decision? Is it usually the parents who make that decision? Probably is, they're the ones who say, hey, they have different programs there. So I want my kids to do it, but maybe they need to get documents, they're not gonna get documents, or whatever. So those are the kind of things, the parent needs to be kind of hit a little bit too, the kids too, the parents probably the ones, the kids out there that, hey, I wanna go to school. They may have some of them, but that might be the parents.
The kids have more influence.
I think.
I think so, but I think it depends on the age of the student too. A high school kid is gonna be more, I wanna go here for this reason. I mean, it all depends on family dynamics and everything like that, but I think that, if we're gonna, to me, if we're gonna spend money and spend a lot of money, quite frankly, we need to have, as a board, this is why, and this is what we're doing.
Sure.
I think it's fair.
That's a good idea. One point I did want to bring up, someone mentioned, we need to find out why kids are enrolling at more, just as important, maybe more important, is why are they enrolling in? We have to ask that question. What made you come here? Because then we'll know what we're doing is working. And if we're promoting the right things. So, I think we're here, but we need a workshop.
I can do that, just the 24th, some good, to do some of that, or do we wanna wait till April?
I would,
Do you want a little time, or do you wanna?
I'd say, with me, but I think we need I guess I don't know how that workshop works as far as if we're just gonna come up, I think we need to, plan on how we're even gonna start this thing.
Yeah.
So, maybe the 24th isn't bad, just kind of starting point, but I don't feel comfortable.
So not an action item on the 24th, but a discussion on the 24th, to give you time to kind of
Yeah,
discuss.
it's kind of the old thought of, how we usually work sessions.
Yes, work session, yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of went to the, every meeting, you know, regular meeting, but we always had action items to approve, in the work sessions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just the regular meeting, where it's
A lot of
long session.
So, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. So that, would it be appropriate, even though she's trying to sell us something, would it be appropriate if she attended at some point in the meeting to say, yeah, we can do that, or, no, we can't?
I don't feel comfortable on that first meeting, I think first we need to set a priority.
Okay.
To me, I mean, I think we need to figure out as a district, what do we want out of this whole advertising thing?
Okay.
Could you send some examples of some video pre-rolls you guys have produced
Yeah.
and send out to us?
Yeah, and yeah, I think, anything that I've previously sent can be shared, and I would say also, I'm definitely an 8% preparation, 20% execution person, so again, I can have this start for you tomorrow, but I'm in no hurry. I will always be very patient and would rather have it fine-tuned just the way you want it than put together. Now, the one that I put together would be a hard list, but it definitely is gonna be heavy radio. When we find out if you still want it to be kind of a hybrid, radio, digital, and the biggest thing for me will be demographics and audience interest of who we want, because I have learned now how all those stalking things work from the other end. And they are a little crazy, but it is possible, so we can do that.
Would that be good information for our workshop?
Oh yeah, I can send anything, and then
Okay.
whether it's weeks or months or however much down the line, when you wanna meet again,
So we're looking at the 24th, Saturday,
oh, just to have it to you by then.
to have,
Oh, well, not just all the information.
right, the information.
Okay.
We
Options.
won't be making decisions then.
Right, that's just a
No,
discussion,
yeah.
right?
No.
Okay.
Nope, I can have information to you within 24 hours or less, start putting it in an email, and then, moving forward, if and when you're ready and you know what the new ideas, I can put together revised proposals for you. Oh, not a problem.
Any other questions? Derek, did you have anything?
No, I appreciate the good discussion. I think that's very, very important for the seven of us. And, I really wish I could have been there in person. Because I think we're all there, I really do. But I think it's just, we take a little bit, take a step back and all come together on this. So appreciate the opportunity.
Are you able to stay for the calendar items?
I am not. I did not have any questions on that on my end. So.
On this subject?
That's on the subject.
Go ahead.
I think we had a good discussion tonight, and I appreciate that. And I do know that in, my circle, I was gonna have a hard time without the information to come back to people. I would be spending $12,000. If I'm in and I tell somebody why, that would be on these, I think I would have had a hard time after tonight doing that.
Sure.
So the more I know, the better.
This is an approval item, I would suggest someone table this item. Just don't take any action. Okay, we're good. Thank you, sir.
But yeah, we just, thank you, appreciate it.
Sir James, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're down to item E, approve the 24-25 calendar adjustment.
Okay, two proposals for you what's happened with snow days, or I should say weather days, because inclement item days, because they're not all weather days even. In looking at what we've had this year, we've used our 5 virtual days. Those made up for 5 of our weather days we dealt with. There are 2 additional days beyond that. One, which was the water main break at Lakeview, which we did nothing that day, so there was no virtual stuff that day. And then the most recent wind blizzard event that everybody got canceled for. The proposal that I really like the board to consider is first to forgive for all staff the water main break day, including non-certified, because we've got non-certified that are gonna make up 5 days at the end of the year already from snow packet days. And I'm really concerned that there's not gonna be enough work for them and that it's just gonna be a disaster for those folks. So in that, it would be taking that water main break day, forgiving those hours for those folks, giving them a paid holiday essentially on that day, so that they can make up those other days at the end, and then making up the most recent wind event on the May PD day. It's the Van PD having kids, and pushing that PD day to the day after students let out, which I have that up on a tab here. I have so many tabs open. That would make that May PD day would be May 27th, the day after Memorial Day, and then teacher workshop day would be the 28th.
When you say forget the water breaking, what does that mean?
Well, like, not have them have to make it up.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because
get
they
their
have
hours for that
professional
day.
hours.
What's that?
Because they have professional hours.
Yeah, so like, and the real challenge we have with non-certified is we have some people who are like year-round, who spread their salary hours over, and then we have some people who are hourly. So this would allow us to just say to all of those people, like, that day is taken care of, you get the normal hours for that day. It's like we do for a paid holiday.
So it's like paid holiday?
Yeah, essentially. Because then when they're making up those 5 at the end, they're not making up the 6. It just seems like that one could be a nice way to forgive. It would forgive for staff. We have the hours to forgive that for students as well and still have a little bit of cushion. And it just would be a way to kind of deal with what ended up being kind of a little bit crazier winter than we expected at one point. Just to make it a little easier to get to the end of the year.
So one of the students would come back and
No, the teachers would come back for the 2 days after Memorial Day. The students would still be out on the 23rd, but would have that, I said 15th, I think it's May 16th, which is the PD day. They would just have school that day instead of a teacher PD day. Yeah, coming back after Memorial Day, especially for one day, it's hard to do. Your attendance is usually pretty poor for that. We've made some good progress on attendance, so I hate to do it if I can help it. The alternative that we could do is to go ahead and make up both days, which would put us coming back on the 27th with kids, the 28th for our professional development. I'm sorry, no, the 27th with kids, and then the 28th for teacher workshop. And still using that 16th for a makeup day. I just think if we could do the one forgiving, that would really help out probably the people that we have in the toughest position financially. Our associates are our lowest paid folks, and this would be a way for us to take care of them and say, hey, we realize that this is really hit the pocketbook for some of you this year. This is something that we can do. We have within our purview. It doesn't cost us extra money beyond what we expected to take care of this.
So non-certified, that's made up right now 6 days.
6 would be fit to make up. And then the student day that we would have.
Okay. So how many of those 6 days would be with?
None of them. Yeah, that's why I didn't have as many as possible. And we can afford to give student hours for that day too, because we built in enough cushion and not need student hours for that.
Why do we put this out there? Won't be great. With the non-certified.
I'm not opposed to that. I just didn't, I felt like if I was gonna ask for something from the board, I wanted to make it a reasonable ask.
I guess, I mean.
So when you say non-certified, are we talking about
Associates, aides, the challenge we'll run into, you know, our custodians worked each of those days, so we have to make it right for them, when we do that, but we would wanna make it right for them anyway. Bus drivers,
I guess in my thinking, I think we're not able to pay them nearly what we'd all like to. Quite frankly, this is to me, this is a way to say, here.
a hat that I've worn in the district before, I would wonder a little bit about employee equity, because we have the certified staff that we expected to do those days, and non-certified staff that we have. But, I think you're right, it's a different employment category, and that plays into that, so I'm comfortable doing whatever we want. My proposal, though, that I would give to you is to forgive that, water time day, and make up as just take the PD day and make that a student day, and make up the days on the end. That'd be my proposal.
So when they make that come in for the eighth, have to make those dates up?
Yeah.
And what would you have them do? What would be the work?
Well, they work in rooms, principals would have work in their buildings for them to do, maybe help getting things put away for the summer, or help getting things.
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering, if they could help to get some of that stuff done.
The other, maybe a compromise for that is we could talk about maybe doing a couple of those days for those, and then having, because that 16th will make up for one of the days, since they'll be working.
I could live with the next two. Some of the days, like you're talking about, and some of the days just helping get the year cleaned up. Whatever cleaned up.
So, some of you were certified staff at one time. And I wouldn't have thought about that until you said that.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's as big of a thing, but it's something I would ask about, I was wondering about.
Right, but would there maybe a days would be more? Like I said, that you know, there's a few days that there's nothing to be done.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. if you don't mind. Yeah, hey, principals, do you have any thoughts on how much you have for people to do at the end of the year? Thanks for being here, by the way.
None of you were listening, so.
No, I do have one thought, but it's not necessarily whole staff, like our building leader, I could definitely find, non-turnout. Then that'd be enough.
So I think like library work, I think checking things out, I mean, I, to be real honest, there's times where we've let our associates in the past, like, we have a lot of mailings, sometimes they're the ones stuffing the envelopes, putting the stickers on, things like that, so.
I don't know that we have 5 days though.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
With
No, but I thought you were talking a middle, like a middle.
100 employees. At the preschool, that would not benefit me.
There's probably, I know a lot of teachers get the first month prepped.
Yeah, and I think you could do some of that. There's only so many copiers in the district though that run at one time,
Well,
and
and I think
storage
we're
of
kinda,
that.
and I think we're doing a lot better job utilizing technology more instead of copies of the old days.
So, yeah. I mean, I think there's some great opportunity to have a few days with people, but I don't know that we have 5 days worth of stuff.
Let me ask a question. Karen.
Yes.
Since you're the most recent teacher here, you're way along with it. Would your feelings be hurt if they were to accommodate?
Oh, absolutely not.
Mine wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Mine wouldn't either.
I wasn't saying my feelings would be hurt, I'm just saying that's a thing to think about.
I wouldn't be, I
yeah.
really will not.
Yeah, just trying to.
They are worker controlled.
So we're talking 6 days, right?
Well, 5 if we turn the 16th into a PD.
Would you have enough work for 3
I mean,
days?
as a student.
Is that Carol?
I was gonna suggest 2 days of work.
Yeah, and I was doing the bulk in mind now too, on the two.
Make your motion.
Yeah, admittedly, I was just putting the calendar here, that's why I asked it the way that I was.
Is that something that?
Probably not, I think it gets just a more comfortable with that. It might be something to put in the policy for future years, potentially given those, people are struggling with physical days, just how they're gonna use them. what that looks like. The funny thing is, there's been 2 or 3 different times this year where a new superintendent starts saying, okay, we're gonna do virtual days now. How does everybody deal with the fact that the associates aren't there and the bus drivers aren't there? What do you do for that? So every time somebody comes into it, they're like, oh shoot, we gotta solve this problem. But if we could even just make the calendar adjustment for today, and then I could bring back the, non-certified pay adjustment, make that work on the 24th, that'd be probably ideal.
Move for calendar adjustments as presented.
Move to second.
First proposal.
Thank you so much.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Wednesday night band concert, tell me about that.
So we ended up with some conflicts that were outside of our district's control, for the night of the band concert. And Jared has done some good work working with our music teachers to try to find some creative solutions to that. And a solution with the band in particular that worked and had very few conflicts was to allow them to do a Wednesday night concert so that they could have, their members there. What Tyler, you wanna talk to kind of what Tyler had to say? I'll let you, I'm sorry, I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, you're fine. So I just messaged them both because I knew there's some conflicts with soccer. The night of the original one, we host Albia for girls and boys soccer, and there's some other stuff. And there wasn't a lot of flexibility with the Albia date, especially when it comes to soccer officials. So I just asked them, like, you know, because I've created a calendar with all our spring stuff on it. They had it. I was like, you guys look at it and see if there's any other dates on there you think might work. Mr. McCutcheon kind of pulled his kids in his choir class, and there's only like 1 or 2 that we're gonna have to miss for other activities, so they opted just to leave theirs on that Thursday. Tyler, on the other hand, was missing some major kids for his, and so he wanted to split it for this year, move it up a day, so that they wouldn't have to miss. So just for this year, they kind of came up with a solution where they would split band on Wednesday and choir on Thursday. And then our goal is when we sit down in April I'll have everything from activities wise rolled over to next year. So when they plan it, we hopefully won't have any conflicts next year. So.
Yeah, there was a little in the turnover in activities department, there was some confusion that you wanted some of that this year that kind of messes us up. And kind of scrambling for some dates. We got kind of left in the works, I think, for what winter and spring dates were really.
Yeah, and then the other problem with spring was we canceled soccer for the boys last year, so we had that messed with it a little bit, and we re-added that stuff.
Good news is our boys soccer is so big that they're all gonna be a JV this year. Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
What's the date of that?
What was the date for that?
Is it the 30th? Is it 30 days in April? 30th.
Did we approve a Wednesday night?
Yeah, 30th.
Something else.
A practice.
We did.
Yeah,
And we approved a Sunday drama
yeah,
production.
this weekend.
So we've done 2 or 3 of those.
I don't really like to accept the precedent that's on that. Yeah, I think that was.
And we did move so the high school play had all of that Sunday performance, and we moved that off of Sunday. Middle school play is still on a Sunday performance this year, with the idea that will become off Sunday performances next year for that. Yeah. Well, we're gonna post that. Yeah, the interesting thing is, we're still in positions, so the candidates we got from, the career fairs I went to are, like, the big thing they wanna coach is drama. And they're, so we may have a whole bunch of people looking at drama, we may have to like pick between people. So, yeah, that can be kind of cool.
So my question is, do we have any pushback on this Wednesday?
I do believe in our choir concert, was it choir concert or was it a musical thing that we had to do earlier in the year that was on Wednesday? Do you remember that from like November?
I think it was choir, because the musical was on Thursday.
Yeah,
Friday,
There
Saturday.
was something that I think we had an individual that it was a conflict for, but, obviously, we just made that right for that individual. And-
Well, I know Tyler's worked with his kids.
Tim's comment there is, if this is something that's needed for the grade, is it something that way? But if a.
Typically, but you have to give them a
If a
makeup.
family has a conflict with the Wednesday, are they able to?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that would be the expectation that.
But
I
the
know
non-music
people
folks are breaking
on that.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're gonna kind of get a fix in place for next year.
Yeah, I think having the same person end and start, I think will help that for us.
And we're all gonna sit down in April on our PD day and with the calendar and make sure that we're picking, days that work for everybody, so.
We've had a little turnover in the leadership of that department over the last couple of years to try to get some consistency. I think what Jared's doing is pre-planning and again, getting out in front of it with people. That April meeting he's talking about is like what we did, and I try not to do this stuff. Back in the day when I was a teacher, we would get together at a PD day near the end of the year, the music department, and we'd have that whole calendar there, and we'd map out our dates then and there, so that those were then, I don't want to say sacred dates, because that's the wrong word to say when you're talking about Wednesday practice. Those were committed dates that you can't, schedule on top of, and then we've got that set in stone. So this is a cleanup of some turnaround that caused us an issue. And if it doesn't work, then we'll look for another cleanup. I mean, we've talked about what we can try to do, but this is the one that kind of works best for Tyler's group, to not have conflicts for them.
As long as there's a remedy in effect for the family chooses not to let their student participate for that reason. Motion to-
I think that, I think that, I know of kids who have been in these situations where they've had to choose. I don't think that's really fair to the kid to make choose. I think that that should be between the teachers. And they should make the decision. And if it's a kid, you got a kid that wants to make their own happen, it just puts them in a tough position. It is.
And I think that being said too, we want to make it clear that the students that are in band, if they're choosing between a new group, and band concert, they don't have to choose. They can do that, and we'll give them a makeup
I'm
assignment.
talking about like families.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I think like to give that side of it too, like, because there are some important commitments there, for some kids. I don't know that there's many on Tyler's survey of the band, but.
Well, there's more band kids than choir. The choir kids was a smaller amount.
Yeah.
Conflict.
I do know that my daughter,
Right.
my daughter before, wanted to,
Right. And I think what we're, and what we've talked about, where we're saying is we don't want this to be a solution in a year where we've had control over building a calendar together, for this.
We got a motion? I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thanks for helping us with the state.
25-26 calendar.
In your packet, you have a post 25-26 calendar. I can tell you the biggest conversation item this year, with the committee and with some parents that reached out, and communicated with me, was, when to put spring break. Because what we found is there are a set of colleges that have one spring break, a set of colleges that have another spring break, and, I think there's even third, if I remember right, but, people wanting it to line up with different colleges and everything, and, as we talked as a committee, we found out that a large event that we have on one of the weeks is our Big Red Track Meet, which, to build up a track meet to the level that that's at is difficult. We have 40-some kids out for track this year, or am I off?
Yeah, Twin Boys and Girls is pushing 40.
Yeah, okay, pushing 40, about 40, which is great growth. So like, I don't wanna see us hurt that program. So we picked this date. It is the date, the week preceding Easter, which didn't necessarily have to be the case, but was a nice benefit because it fit that Good Friday that we give to our non-certified folks within that week, so we could end just a hair earlier. Though it's not super early, the way the calendar falls next year, our last day, get the right page up here, just so you can see that. Right page. Our last day is still pretty close to the end of the month on there. This is what I get for scrolling through it. Thank you. Yeah. So the last 2 days, the 28th was an hour early out. 29th is a teacher workshop day for that calendar. So it's still close to the end of the month, but out before June. And we got that by kind of having that little trick with spring break there, to have one of the days that full week still be a holiday day.
So the day after Easter, that Monday is their school.
Yes. That was another part of the debate at the committee. I think I was kind of of the philosophy, CNI week. This is a bad thing to say, but I would just assume go to June happily, and take time off in the middle for people to be happy. But I don't think I'm in a minority on that opinion. But I try to avoid that as a result. But yeah, right. Yeah. I'm all for your house. You know, that's just because I'm a nerd who really likes school. So, I love it. It's great. It's fun. These kids are over here, they're like, Mr. Taylor, that's great. I love school that much too. That's what they're thinking right now.
Nobody stood up.
Darn it. Oh, captain, my captain, and all that stuff.
So the captain is when?
It's that next week, the week of the 6th. And so that was the other week we looked at for spring break. And just to move that, then you get out, because every school has their corresponding dates. So then you have to start again and build back a new group of schools that are willing to come. So again, the spring break is never, that's always a topic, right? This year is kind of weird with the 2 mini breaks. At home, I've received a lot of negative feedback about the 2 mini breaks. I don't know, the public people are nicer than to say anything, I think, but at home I've gotten beaten up a little bit, not by my wife, but so, you know, it is what it is. Not saying it's something we could never do again, but I'm just telling you that feedback is what I've gotten. Yeah, I think it's okay, but
I'm not a spring break guy anyway. I think we should have a spring break days in the calendar at all. Oh yeah, I'm going out there.
you're a no spring break kind of guy.
I'm a no spring break guy.
You might be just as unpopular
Friday,
as.
Monday is what it used to be. Friday, Monday.
Yeah, I remember that. I believe, that it's become a very popular thing.
I don't,
Yeah.
full disclosure, I'm not in favor of spring break.
I respect it.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 25-26 school calendar. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Second reading of board policy 710.4.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the 101% budget guarantee resolution. Roll call.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Turner. Turner. Heffernan.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Liskus.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Approve the 2025-26 teacher leadership positions.
Okay, so So in your packet, there is a list of people who have applied for, interviewed for, and been accepted for TLC positions for the upcoming year. The lead teacher positions and the instructional coach. The instructional coach proposed is Ty Zolzer, who is a title teacher at Lakeview. And then we have a series of people for the lead teacher positions. Julie and I have talked about, we did receive a few less applications than we would have liked. We actually had budgeted for an additional, I wanna say 3 or 4 spots beyond this, that we'd like to open a second round, for, but we wanted to get these names approved, with the board and maybe come back with a few more lead teachers, later on if that ends up working out, if there's anybody that's interested. I think it's possible some people might have been a little afraid of the interview process beforehand, because it used to be a lot tougher than it is, and, now it's a little bit more like, just talk to us about your teaching, and talk to us about how you reflect, and a little bit more open, a little less, make a video.
I would like to see, I think every school except the middle school is represented.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And we did not have many applicants for the middle school, that applied for the lead teacher position.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve teacher leadership positions. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Leadership positions have been approved. Approve the LGRP participation agreement.
Gas, sorry, natural gas. agreement.
I thought it had something to do with it.
It's a good board.
Nope, this one's gas.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember what it's.
Local government principles.
C.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Motion to approve the.
We have a motion.
Well, then I'll second.
Okay, it's hard motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the personnel business procedures.
Good call.
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
I'd like to pull out Marty Sykes. Make it separate.
I agree. 1 year.
I think he told me today, 48 years.
So,
And I
motion
can
to
tell him.
approve all of Marty's, and take that as a separate action.
Yep. Second.
Okay. You have a motion?
Yeah, I made the motion.
Excuse me, you made the motion?
Yep.
Second?
Second.
Second. All those
Didn't
in,
you already do that?
But you can have it.
we have a motion to approve all of the personnel business procedures except Marty Sykes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Marty Sykes.
I think it's commendable that they're doing that well, and, we have done this in the past, and I would like to, move to approve Marty's retirement and award him a lifetime activities pass for his service. There's a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion and a second.
If everybody or nobody.
In case people didn't hear, it's pushing 50 years that he's been an employee in our district, so amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Should there be more? Should there be more than that? We're in the discussion part.
We've done that, that's what we've done in the past, so I know that's a precedence for very long service.
Who's gonna get there?
I can't think of anybody who's been here.
Who does that?
This is a pretty long one.
This is pretty long, guys.
What are you proposing?
Well, maybe a plaque. Maybe some sort of, something to put on the shelf. so the precedence here for somebody that's been here 48 years.
I think that's, if you wanna make that part of the motion, I would amend my motion, but I think that's also something that administration needs to think of.
We could look into something at the end of the year celebration, because I'd love to celebrate that number of years for somebody at the end of the year.
Okay.
And do that when we do the breakfast, would that be an okay time to
I
do
think
that?
so.
That's what we used to do almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skids and all that.
And I think for this would be a great time to do something like that.
We could have something you could.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you probably won't wanna go on the morning show though.
Probably not, but I'm in the paper.
No, I'm just, I was looking at Aaron, I wanted to see Aaron's reaction. What do you want to go on the morning show? I didn't anticipate you'd be.
We could surprise him.
What if I needed to?
But no, I like that, Carol, the retirement stuff.
Okay. We have a
And he
motion,
was all.
an amended motion, do we need a second to the amendment? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those same sign, the motion carries. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. And Marty needed that. We are down to the building walkthrough.
And it's really, the nice thing about the building walkthrough here is it's kind of fun more than like what do we need to fix.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So,
Mr. Beeson, you wanna walk us through?
Yes. I'll just throw this out there as we get ready to.
Motion to approve.
So I just wanna make one note on those, there's $31,000 going to CAM, $300,000 going to Seymour. So we talk about advertising and open enrollment. How much does Seymour benefit from $300,000? How many teachers are we talking?
couple.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Superintendent's report.
I don't have a lot, because it was quite a bit of a meeting, but I just wanted to say a couple things. One, you might have noticed in the personnel reports that we had a couple staff members who were on the list to be sub-bus drivers, including Crystal Bronson, one of our nurses, so it was just cool, and then we had an associate as well who had put in for that, so it's just, I think it's really neat. Alex Groff, she's at, I wanna say Alex is at Lakeview, but just great to have a couple people willing to do that, and getting that trained so that that can happen for us, and alleviating a little bit of the problem that Mike shared with us about a month ago. We're still looking for more drivers, obviously, so we're still kind of hitting the beat on that and looking for what we can. Thanks for working with me on the calendar stuff. It really helps to be able to communicate that out and maybe try to take care of our non-certified folks with that. If you haven't had a chance to see some of the video ads that we've recently done, some of those are on Facebook, and I can help get people there. It's been really neat as we've done those ads that what has happened is kids have seen the ads of other kids doing their activities that they like. They're coming to us saying, when can I record an ad about blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of viral how that's worked. So just really happy that our kids are doing that. This weekend, I had a chance on Friday to drive up to Cedar Falls in the morning, go to a career fair, talk to the future of education, recruit some really good candidates for us that are actually coming in for some interviews later this week and early next week. And then got home, turned around, went to Council Bluffs with our middle school robotics kids, and got to spend the day with them on Saturday. That was awesome, because usually when I've been around the robotics, I've been judging, so I haven't had to watch the kids do their thing with the teamwork, and to see them working with each other and problem solving, what happened with their robot when it was in the ring and what they need to change was really neat. I know that group of kids shared a lot of interest in May 9th when the new challenge for next year comes out. They want to start preparing, so they've talked to Mrs. Mitchell, who's like the most awesome volunteer person you're gonna run across, who said, yeah, I'll let you in over the summer, we can work on it and start getting your robot going so that we have a leg up on next year. Tomorrow at Marshalltown with Mock Trial is gonna be another fun event, and the end of kind of a whirlwind tour, I think, and then we'll kind of settle in a little bit, but, really looking forward to showing off our kids for all the smart things that they can do.
Any questions?
Katie did such a good job. She really did.
Thanks.
I hope she's in speech and all that, is she?
Oh, yeah, she does all
Okay,
that.
all right.
She likes to talk.
Well, yeah. You have to have those people.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for the superintendent's report? We're down to board takeaways, and I'm going first. Break with tradition. First of all, I think it's outstanding that soccer has come back. I remember when we didn't, we wondered if we'd have a team. And, but I'm very impressed with that. The next thing is, many years ago, an administrator gave me some advice. He said, don't get too far out in front of them, because they'll forget you were with them, and they'll shoot you in the back. And that's what happened on advertising, and I apologize. That won't happen again. Okay? I am sorry. Well, you didn't feel like you were part of it, and that's not right. Okay? Who's next? Carol.
I was really impressed with the way that we discussed tonight. I just felt like so much a part of this board, more so than I've felt through nobody's fault, we listened to each other, and that was the way it should be, and I really enjoyed that. That's all. I don't think I have two.
I think mine's gonna be kind of like a procedural thing, I think. I think several of us probably have had phone calls here in the last week or two. I think it's important for all of us to remember that, and myself included, that we need to encourage people to go through the processes, the chain of command, how things are going, how they're set up. We ultimately, as a board, only have one employee, that's the superintendent. So we need to encourage people, they have to go through the processes. At the end, we're the final thing. But we need to, myself included, like I said, and that, this goes back to councils and everything else too, that we need to remember, that ultimately, the seven of us have one employee. So.
And I told people that, and they said, oh, wait, I'm gonna do this, do that.
Okay. That's fine.
I guess I will,
Since we're all staring at you.
well, no, I thought the career day thing was, to get that many people involved was really good, and some of the kids, there's so many different things that they, they're in high school, they're not gonna make their decisions now, all of them, but maybe juniors, seniors may do some, but just to show that there's all these different things that they can do, and talk to some people that have done it. I think that's very important, no matter which direction we go. So I think that's good. So I thought that was good. And I'll say another, one person that called me, and he has come into a public place and done his complaining before too, which I didn't appreciate. In one of the restaurants here. It was just not an appropriate thing, and I agree.
They appreciate what you said on advertising being filter attack. I'm in support of advertising. I just think we need to do video. I do that. So I think on the, I appreciate that comment, but hopefully you didn't feel like we were picking on some of our comments. So that certainly I wasn't meaning to do that.
No, but can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I had the feeling that you didn't feel included, and that's the last thing I want. I want you all to feel like we were a part of a decision before we move forward.
Sure.
And I'll do my best to take care of that.
So, but with that, and I do think there's a lot of financial reasons to do the advertising. And, and I said my takeaway is the same thing I did last week, is I think we need to plan a board retreat because of that, and obviously some policies that we're getting phone calls on are probably two good reasons to do a retreat where we have a lot of dedicated time, because those are issues, and we didn't do one last year, and we got just behind on the schedule on that one. But I think those are two really, really good, issues to take the time to do a deep dive into, board policy on those things. If we get Tammy to do it, then those counts towards our IASB hours. For convention.
And that's not like a closed meeting where you.
No, it
can
has to
say
be open.
anything you want.
It has to be an open meeting. We cannot, it's not a closed session, so it has to be open, but.
But I think you're saying like, can the topics be kind of fluid with that? And there's a little bit of fluidity as long as it's within her agenda that she built with us. Because the one we did with her, we had a little bit of fluidity, just to kind of use topics as an example of how we wanna steer as a board.
Yeah, 2 years ago, we brought in, Marina, who's a recruiter, who used to be from Warren, and we did one more personality type, so we did a personal profile type and some things like that. So we can do anything we want in those. There was a lot of free-flowing discussion in those things. But it has to be an open meeting, but what it does is, we did it an hour, and, nobody attended, it wasn't recorded. So it's still an open meeting, but, and people can come if they want to, and we still have to advertise it out there, but it's an 8-hour meeting, so most people aren't gonna come, they don't come for a 2-hour meeting, they're not gonna come for an 8-hour. And so it gives you the opportunity to really, spend a lot of time on a topic, and I think those two topics are gonna need a lot of time.
I think the sooner we schedule it, the better.
So is it on the pitch then?
We can do that.
I mean, I don't.
If they're willing, we can also record it.
Well,
We can do that. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but we can do all sorts of things with it. I'll say it's probably not real exciting to watch it. Because I think the last one we did, you've been 4 years.
I don't know if we broadcast the last one, we didn't. A retreat's not required.
Because we're not really allowed to make decisions there.
But it's not required to be recorded.
Yeah, the only requirement is that it's published, so.
And you can't make decisions.
We can't make decisions. Yeah, there's some weird rules about it.
Alright. Maybe there's a piece I can go read about it.
I had to ask a lot of questions about it.
I might have something from Tammy, but let's see if she can share anything with us.
I just don't want to.
Ken, is that something maybe for the 24th, we can kind of nail down?
Say the wrong thing. I just-
Can I real quick,
Well,
go off
yeah.
of yours real quick,
Sure.
sorry, Tim. I think maybe, I like the Tammy thing, but I think it may also be important for a work session of some sort, where each of us come up with 1 or 2 things that is really important for us to dig in deeper on. And we have that pre-planned on the agenda, we can openly talk about that stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like this has been on my mind, and I want to talk about it.
Sure.
Okay.
I like that. Mr. Berger? That's right.
Okay, I'll say that I do like the way the board engaged with one another tonight. And then to bring up the, retreat type things that we've done in the past. I kind of felt tonight like how I felt after we had that retreat before. I feel like they were communicating more open with each other. It feels right. Besides all that, I want to give a shout out to Cameron. It was nice to see his, we'll call it layer.
That's a good way of putting it.
No, that's pretty cool. I really.
I'm super excited for what it's gonna be
I
soon.
didn't even know you were doing that.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be sweet.
Anything else? A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries, we are adjourned.